Hello. Lên giờ vain chỉ bảy vắt ule. Ai bắt hiện hun tramin pelea kan rong bol na kan azan riat na ang han dimeng chu thupui pariat na avoi riat na ang kan tiang chu kan lo thleng le thaya pathian kai roi na wang lew lew ani ti chiang khop mai pathian ming fakin amro se ti chuan hai in khom pok an than hem thei khop mai a lop om hle in ka ria ti chuan in online lama tanga lo thlir thin te tam tak kan om thina lomam khop mai a thanem ngai tikin lo enzel ulangin hei tun kar chho pok an nei le zel dona thildung le ti tak chatin longai thaturin kan somnon le do chowa tin helaya kan member ke ma ni ho po hian atom theyang barin ser dar ila the dar ila ke po hian in zantin hi mai lowin kan chung ko group tianga te le thil le rol hena hian ka the dar baina sa thina ni te kha kan sei du bok ani ti chuan kan tan na hla tur kha khovel ram zawi ka han thlir ti kha ani dona lim takin pathian choi moi nan ilo sang u
Sirtina niklo thi
hian ma ilo ku nang u kan fel wangte kan thot wangte ni lowa I khonga ina wanga nalpa I khonga I wang zo ka vo in hunte zan in hunte min thlen mi thot thlen le awangin lom thuma sain kan thil che lalpa hei kan rong bol na kal zela I tharau thelim ompuina lalpa kan chang chho zela pastor mangin lalpa thu cha nung tak takin ipuang thina lalpa helai local comment ni lovin lalpa online lama lo ngai thatu zong zong te po nangin mal som vekla naki nu le zela po he rombol na he thupui pai mo tak bai hi lalpa mitam te ka lo ngai thla a he thu awanga I thu tak lo thezel turin lalpa an thil lung le an tharau mu te ti var sak zelang che lalpa he kan nin rombol na tlom tak mai hi lalpa mingin mal kan soma zaina hian lalpa mitam takena kan hlok pui thei ngena turin I khonga ina karon dil nol le ani kan pastor legen ompuila zaina lalpa thu cha ain bo seina zong zong te kim chang tak la thatak maya apon thina turin I tharau theli min ompui tlatla lalpa ti sual theina hen khol chiang the chang khol thlo palte hati yang thil thalo lo thleng thei la ka te nang min ve him sakla lalpa kan in khom na I tharau theli min lo khalla bula tanga top thik min shroi tor che in lali so min karon dile amen les tuna chuan a khrisela chanchin thucha soiturin Mr. Lawrence ilo somang
Good evening, everyone. Yes. Mizo I'm still working on it. This is the way I say. I can talk regularly, but for public speaking, I'm still working on my Mizo. It's getting better. Tonight we're going to talk about strokes. Most of us know stroke. Do you know anyone that has had a stroke? If you raise your hand. Stroke. Nay. Okay. One person that you might know is Uheri. Had a stroke. Remember that? Okay. So strokes, we're going to talk about recognizing symptoms and emergency response. So we're going to talk about what a stroke is, and we're going to see what everyone should do if you think that someone has a stroke, okay? And it's very important to know that because you might be near someone that has a stroke and to help that person recover quickly and get help as quick as possible, okay? A bunch of it. Okay, the agenda tonight, overview of strokes and its types of strokes, recognizing the signs of stroke, immediate response and emergency treatment, prevention, and long-term management. Prevention actually should come first, but let's talk about stroke first, okay? So definition of stroke. What is a stroke? Stroke happens due to interruption or reduction of blood flow in brain arteries. So there's not as much blood going to your brain, okay? Effect on brain tissue, oxygen and nutrients deprivation. So you don't get the oxygen and nutrients you need from your blood into your brain. That's basically what it is. And you lose 1.9 million brain cells per minute during a stroke. And most people have 100 billion brain cells. So think every minute you're losing a little bit, and it adds up quickly. That's why you need to get help right away. Okay. These are the types of stroke. Basically, those three types of strokes: ischemic stroke, which is blood vessels, the actual vessels, stop delivering the blood. Hemorrhagic stroke, your brain bleeds and it stops giving blood to the brain cells. And then there's a type of stroke that is not quite a real stroke called TIA. It's similar to stroke, but it's not really a stroke. So the impact of a stroke, strokes are the 5th leading cause of death in America. Okay, that's a very big amount of people that die of strokes. And the #1 leading cause of people having to have long-term care in nursing homes and other places like that. Okay? Importance of rapid treatment, early recognition, and prompt medical intervention for better outcomes. Recognizing the signs of stroke. So at work, at the hospital, we say be fast. So #1, be balance if there's a change in balance. So say I'm walking like this, okay, at first, and now I can't walk too well. Okay, something like that. Or you can't walk at all. You have to sit down and you can't get up. Eyes change, your vision changes, you can't see as well or you cannot see at all. Face drooping, the side of your face falls down. Arm weakness, one side of your arm you can't move anymore. Okay, you could do everything okay, now you can't. You can't pick up this, you can't do this. Okay? Speech difficulty. Now you can't talk anymore. Okay? Or your speech isn't good anymore. So time to act. You have to get help right away. So there's some other ones there: sudden numbness or weakness, visual disturbance, balance and dizziness. And one big thing, you can have a really severe headache that you've never had before, okay? So something that really hurts you, and you never had like this before. Importance of quick recognition, timely recognition benefits. Early identifications of symptoms significantly reduces brain damage and enhances recovery outcomes. So if you get immediate help as soon as possible, the person that had the stroke might be still able to walk if you get help right away and get treatment, okay? If you're 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, half an hour later, they might be in a wheelchair forever. So that's the difference. They might be able to see decently after stroke if you get help, but if you don't get the help right away, they might not be able to see again. Just like your arm, if you get help right away, they can probably use their arm, maybe not 100%, but 80%, 75%. But if you don't get help right away, they can't use that arm or leg anymore. And public awareness is very important for public awareness to let people know that. So calling emergency services. In the US, we call 911. In other places, Mizoram, etc., so people drive people to the hospital, okay? And I understand that. It's best to let the hospital know that someone might have a stroke and you're bringing them to the hospital if you're driving them to the hospital, okay? But here, 911 is the best because they can get there right away and they have the medicine to give them at your house or at that person's house, wherever the stroke is happening, okay? So it's the most important is 911. If you see all the things that I said about all the changes, call 911, tell them that how old the person is, what gender, address, etc., whatever they ask, tell them you think they have a stroke. And then they can come knowing prepared that the person might be having a stroke and to treat them quickly. Also, what we all can do is take a CPR class to help them because they might need CPR during the time they're suffering in front of you. Does anyone here have CPR? CPR? Good, okay, good. So making sure their airway is open, they can breathe, so you can sit them up a little bit, or if they lay down, put their head up in the pillow a little bit so they can breathe. Monitoring breathing, monitoring their circulation, their pulse is okay. And then, of course, letting the call 911 or get them to the hospital if you don't have an ambulance there, okay? In the hospital, or the EMTs will come, they'll give them medication so that the blood can reach their brain, okay? And that's the most important thing. And they have specific medication, it's called TPA, and that will open up the blood vessels and burst those things that stop the blood from getting to your brain. And that will help them recover quicker so they have less effects from the stroke. Surgical intervention also, and other medical interventions, including blood thinners and other things, medications. Prevention is the best thing to do, okay? For everything, most medical conditions, we're not born with it. There are some that people are born with it, but a stroke, we're not born with it. It's something that happens, and prevention is the key. First thing is stress, okay? Stress increases your chance of a stroke. If you have a really stressful job, if you have a really stressful life, it increases your chance of a stroke. Managing your hypertension, if you have hypertension, or diabetes also. If your hypertension, your blood pressure is too high, the chance of you having a stroke are high. If your diabetes is out of control, also chance of stroke. Avoid smoking and drinking alcohol. That's really big also. And doing drugs too, doing illegal drugs, etc. Healthy diet and exercise. So eating a balanced diet, more vegetables, using different, if you eat meat, more fish, and if you use oil, olive oil is the best. And last year, I know I did a health talk about exercise. And exercise, I know most of us, most of us here can walk, okay? You can at least walk, and a lot of us can run a little bit or jog a little bit. Do some every week several times, at least half an hour, 2 to 3 times a week. So once someone goes to the hospital, after they get treated, they get medications, physical therapy, also occupational therapy, speech therapy, if it affects their speech and they can't speak properly. There might be other people involved, and someone might have to go to rehab for a while. So it's a long process, okay? And then after that, the supporting care. Sometimes you'll get a nurse to visit that person once a day for a while, and then they eventually, sometimes you have to go to an appointment to a special place. And then the supportive care. So public education is the most important part of this, and I'm giving you education regarding that. So remember, and then the support from the survivors. It's really hard. Say someone was a working person and they have a stroke, okay? Now, they're not working anymore. They have someone to, you have to take care of them. Instead, they're taking care of other people. So it can be very hard on that person. So for a conclusion, remember, important to get help as soon as possible. That's the first thing. We understood the 3 types of stroke and the prevention of a stroke. Keep yourself healthy, eat decently, get some exercise, reduce your stress. All right, thank you.
Mr. Lawrence, thank kan lom lu ke. Pathian mal som sel chro se. Poi mo khop maya zai na ran sai te po kha. Tong thiam jok chuan hrefia in ka ringa kai avai vai ka he. Lo chung po khanin atang kai hle in ka ria. Tin tu na chuan lekisit thut thleng van nei ka ti mai ang chu thut thleng van nei zon na hun kan mang le do na. Pu om pu ya lo som leng.
Khom kan thathe tho khop mai sai po chan lak ana niang pure ma pon sar khata hen pakhat zer thui la atia win all de wang atia pu thang po han thu thoi ro le R7 en valak thei ve R7 hi e rong bol tai ma niang e rong bol tai ma deu he sia niang tu tak niang ma le nong phu rang to jiao mai the ni 3 pu muan pu ya ya ni pu set chuk nya na hau saman mai don le
Van này thấy khóc mấy bụng buồn bụi hiện đông nguồn tổ lên cái gì ông mẹ capo đông cha có về tụi cả anh u bula lâu soi thiên đi ông ta cái này cái trong tai thiên na thì mà sẽ bia cái bàn đi ông na ai ở tận mi khá bé lo mẹ bắt thiên thì mình bé này hiệt thì lẽ giải na zai na kan thu in kan chang than pa kan thu sil tu chang than chian na ron na yenge thu pon bung som pali chang riat tin van tir go dang apan hi na chuan Babulon Rawh aminga I chin wanga thin urna wain nam zong zong in tir tu chu atlom ta ti in an ron zuya karon channel lenge tin van tir ko dang apan hi na chuan Babulon Rawh aminga I chin wanga thin urna wain nam zong zong in tir tu chu atlom ta ti in an ron zuya ti ani le patur kan som ma in kan ril ru te pathian lama da ila kan thu chagai thla tang te lok pui thau turin lawin bo sai ilangin online atang lo thir tu zong te po pathian in mal som chau sela he rong bol la kan nei me kan thu cha re reng hi ro pui thoro pui va kan ya kan mitlang pui kan khiat thiam lo zir tak nga yak ji khan ye wangin thilung taka lo ngai turin kan som don le chawani pastor lo somang